Hello guys, welcome. Welcome to another episode of Ripster Daily Trade Recaps and Daily Teachings. What a day, guys! What a day! That's why we stay patient. Did not expect the day to be such good. I was expecting some chop after a few days of run, but a lot to cover today. How we traded Tesla long and how how I messed up a Boeing trade and then short at the open and the midday calls. So there are a lot of repeatable setups. We need to cover. Community did good today. I think 18% were red later in the day, but most of the community was green. So a lot to discuss, guys. I'll try to keep today's video small. My throat has been hurting. I don't know what's going on. So I'll try to go through the things faster, try to keep it shorter today. So let's start with a quick recap, guys. Again, I'm gonna do a smaller introduction. If you want a bigger introduction, go watch my previous videos or you read about me in the description. So these recaps and these trades are from our community, from any trades I share on Twitter, any investment ideas, any swing ideas, any day trade ideas which I share, and which any traders in the community are taking from our game plan, our daily setups. We see how they worked out, right? How did we play? What was my live comments, what was my trades, or what was my traders trading? So we try to see that how did we make money, how did we lose money, so what was the trade. And we do repeatable setups. We don't do anything random, so I have a repeatable system, repeatable setups that I've been teaching for years, and we trade only that. Our community is based upon a repeatable trading strategy. We do not trade random, and that's what we do here, right? So every day before the market open, my team goes through all the pre-market news. We come up with a game plan. This is the game plan in front of you. You can pause the screen, read it, and see how everything panned out with the game plan, right? We have a support pivot, we have a resistance pivot. When we use the EMA clouds with those to see, are we going to long or are we going to short? If we're going to long, what will be our entry? If we're going to short, what will be entry? So that's what we're going to discuss. Then in addition, I also share what we call as our daily levels. These were daily levels: SPY, QQQ, IWM, how they panned out specifically today for SPY, QQQ. For example, Meta was a big short under the support of 505 break, right? And then how was AMD and NVDA was a short of 8035 breaks. So these levels help traders to make their own decisions based upon the levels and the clouds. So the next one we're gonna look at, we also do something that's my strategy is called day 2, day 3 setups. Netflix and Spot and Pepsi were three main that triggered for me, at least, from these plan, and we'll talk about that, how they worked out in the community over day 2, day 3 setups. We'll talk about them. And anyways, that was a quick introduction. Let's start. So the first one we're going to talk about is a Netflix. So let's look at Netflix. Let's see what was our plan. So Netflix, guys, the plan was pretty straightforward this morning. It was our day 2 setup, right? Day 2 setup, support 570, resistance 575, 580, right? So that was our day 2 setups. It's also our daily level. So we also have some daily levels: 570, 575, 580. And as soon as the market opened, market was, I'll talk about the market, like how the market was heavy. And you see it's under the clouds, it's under the pivots. The pivot I gave, it's under that. So you take the short right away. And I was on a voice, I was guiding everybody on the voice that this 570 level that I just showed you breaks down. That's your risk, initial risk to short it, and $2-3 risk there. And look at the fade. That was like $20 fades. If you risked what, $3, $4, even then it's a great risk reward. So I told everybody it's a bearish, no longs, short for a day 2, day 3, still heavy, and 100% ATR. It met 100% ATR. 550 was kind of the target, but it started bouncing from 550. We did play a curl on that 550. I got like 17-18% on my options, but then I had to cut it because it failed the curl fully. It did push from 553. So I told everybody curl versus 550. So you add a little bit starter here, 553s, 554s, push to 557. The options were like 15-16%. Didn't work out, we got out. But the main play today was Netflix short all day. You saw the pre-market levels, day 2, day 3. It's under the clouds. There's no long. The most important thing is there is no long. When this is happening, you don't even think about longing Netflix that day. You do not want to long it. That's what our system tells us. That's how we save big losers. That's how we do good, because at least we know our trend, right? Know your trend. That's important, to know your trend. Yeah, if you're new to my YouTube, one thing you can learn from me is that always trade with the trend. Try to identify the trend, and then you at least do not long it. If it's bearish, do not long it. You don't have to long it, because the system says it's a short. Even if you don't short it, save your money without longing it. Don't do low probability bad setups. Stay out of it. Do nothing. Anyways, guys, the next setup we're going to talk about is Humana. So let's see what was the plan on Humana today. The plan on Humana was EPS beat. It was one of the star plays. You see I have a star there because that's one I was trying to focus on that day, because it was a starred player. Support pivot was 334 and 332. Resistance was 340. Long bias versus 332. No long under it. Look what I'm saying. No long under it. So we have a plan. We trade with the plan. But if that plan, and remember, amateur move is the most important move. That tells you what you're going to do. So you see that right away it broke 332. So right away I know that's not going to be long anymore. Now what do? Do I start a starter right away? If I hit the starter right away, then I have to be very small size, because if it swipes back up, I'm going to lose a lot of money. But when you see this lower highs, lower lows, breaking the yesterday's lows, breaking more pivots, so that means, you know, we're going to get some more fade there. We are going to get more fade. So look, my what I said. After 5 minutes, I saw it. I was a little late. I said, no long there. I said, short it, watch the bounces. Short it, watch the bounces. And that's what I said here. And every bounce started to fail. The first target I gave was 320. Second target I gave was 315. Third target I gave was 310. I said cover at 315, roll into 310 profits. And 310 target met. And I said you can roll into further profits. Those lotos didn't work out. You just close them when they moved over 512. And look here, when I closed the hum, we closed at Humana right here on this curl. Watch my timestamp here. And I said it right here. Let's stop out. And the stock went another $4. So that was a good curl setup as well. You know, you could have traded. But the big winner today was Humana short. And end of day curl was a good scalp as well. So beautiful trade, guys, right in front of you. No BS, everything right here. Beautiful trade, Humana, for the community. Everyone really did well. So next one is we're gonna discuss is Meta. Okay, so Meta was another short winner today. So you know that, you know, I will discuss the earnings in the end. That will be a different discussion. I will discuss that. Just want to quick tell you why Meta was a short. The TikTok news. I always tell everyone that buy the rumor, sell the news. Buy the rumor, sell the news. So TikTok news came up and Meta is gapping up like what? $15, $12 on that. You know, that doesn't mean anything. And look, the system confirmed that it's, you know, there's no long here. So look what happened. And we can go back and see our levels, right? So whatever levels I gave everyone, look here, 506, 512. Then on the level sheet, 505, right? So the moment that breaks, I know it's bearish. So now I know I'm bearish. Now I only need to take is, do I take advantage of that bearish move? What should I do? So I see that it's bearish. And then I'm on voice. I'm telling everybody that's a short. We're breaking the 505. My initial target was just 500. You know, I was considering it as a scalp. But when 500 psychological level breaks, that's going into the gap, my friends. That's a 10 a.m. bear flag breakdown. And at that time, I said it's too heavy. Look what I'm saying, still heavy. When I need to tell my community that it's still a short, I say still heavy. You know, there was a buyer who was stepping in 495s. I told people that you can try to cover here most. Even, see, the problem is just still not going over 512s. But you just have to be proactive to start covering. But when you see the fade, you add them back. You add those shorts back. And the market was failing big. We will recap the market. And then Meta failed as well. And then Meta went on. And then I said Meta will probably go to over 490. 490 target, and you know, look at where Meta went to 485s, right? So that was just so good. Meta tried to curl again, it did not give us enough curl. It tried to push 492s and then it faded. And then I'll discuss the Meta earnings trade in the end, so you can just skip to the end and we'll discuss that. So next one we're going to discuss is spot. So what was the spot and what was the plan on spot for us today? What was the trade on spot? So for the spot, I'm going to just go back to my day 2 setup. My day 2 setup number 3, 300 psychological level. Most of you know my teachings. Under 300 it's a short, and you just have to have patience, guys. If you don't have patience, look where it faded from 300 to all the way to 280, right? It's from the gaps are not holding up. This was yesterday's gap. 290 was yesterday's 0.6 Fibonacci. That even that one, it completely filled that that pending gap as well. So you need to be patient for such trades. So look what I'm saying. So I'm saying spot is a great short. Spot is a great short versus 300, right? So and let's go back. Let's just go back. Our levels 300, 307.50, and then and you just hold it for the gap fill. We didn't really fill the full gap fill, but there was still a decent gap fill. And a lot of traders did actually do great on spot today. Even though there was analysts, Prasad was short, really was doing good. Drew was short. I mean, it's a lot of people in the whole community were short. You see that, right? KK was short. So everybody loved this short, and there's a beautiful short today for everyone in the community. That was spot. So let's check. Next one is Tesla. So Tesla is very interesting today, and I want you guys to see what I show you on Tesla. What happened on Tesla? What was our planning? And our planning was spot on, guys, today. Our planning on Tesla was spot on. So let me show you. Okay, so let's see. I can show you bearish amateur move. So let's go to our plan first, right? So what was the plan on Tesla? The plan was gap fill under 159, 158 area. Watch this carefully, these levels, and long over 164 breakout. Read this carefully, and then I'm going to show you, right? Support 158.75, resistance 164, gap fill under 159, 158 area, long over that 164 breakout, right? So you see that, and let's go back and see how it worked out. So amateur move, I'm always careful on amateur move. Even though we were getting bought here, they were buying this is the level, right? This is the level I had in my pre-market sheet, 158, 159. Why? Because there was a price here. That was the same level. It's not hard to find these levels, guys. That's what I teach you every day. So you just need to wait for that level and execute based upon that level. So then I see, I don't want a perfect entry. That's fine, because if I add here and it flushes, I have a lot of risk. Maybe I can add a small starter, but I don't tell that to many new traders, because then they add heavy and they don't know how to manage it. So anyways, this was the amateur move consolidating. So I know this is a range. So I say the first bearish move, 158 key. Win comes in. He wants to buy it right away with 158. Win is a Tesla whisperer. Beautiful. He had a good entry there. So I was watching choppy action, but bullish versus 158. Then I told everybody there is a range of 158 and 164, 160, 164. Then I see the second candle holding up, and then I take the long. I was a little late. That's fine. But even on being late, I made like 100% on my calls. Right, so even if I was late, so you see that we were late. Win was early, and he came in, then I came in, and then 164 breakout. I added a little more, and then it started to push to 168. Target was 170, and target was 170. You can see my other. I can show you my other Tesla. When I have time, I always share just to show the traders what I'm doing. You can see, right? My calls were 111% right here, 111%. So that was that. And I took the profits on them, and then it finally breaking out. Once this 164 was not holding, I was out. The previous breakout didn't hold. You need to get out. And then it was a short. Then community went short under 512s. Then they shorted under 3450s. But look again, same level, guys. Same level. This is why the levels are so important. You can clearly see a bidder bidding at that level. So same level you could have traded all day. Buy 158, sell tops, short 164 break, cover 158s, then buy 158s again, sell 162s. All day you could have traded this level. That is the beauty of support resistance, guys. By the way, I'm going to do a big webinar for my community members, annual members. You want to join that, be ready for my next webinar. A lot of good information I'm going to share in this next webinar. All right, guys, next one we're going to look at Boeing. For me, Boeing was a loser. I kind of messed it up this morning. I should have been a little more patient on amateur move. I try, you guys have seen me even past, when amateur moves, I have sometimes lose on amateur move. That's part of the game. That is fine. But a lot of times I'm thinking about the community as well and how we are trading it. So what did amateur? I was short. My bias was short on the B minus when it failed that 512. So I was short. The mistake I did was when it swiped back in the amateur candle, I moved long. And I should not have, because the 10-minute candle did not close, right? So did not close. So then it failed, but I did say 178 was breakout, right? I went long, 178 was the breakout. 178 breakout didn't hit. Again it broke, came back, and then I was out. I just took the loss. So you see how, but then it was short. It dipped under the clouds, pushed again over the clouds, dipped back, and then faded all day. Then news hit. I did make some money back later in the day. You saw this news came, and there was a nice short on that news. The traders in the community did much better than me on Boeing, right? So they did much better. They were short all day. RGV just nailed it all day on BA short. So that's what you have to find. Everybody has to find their own conviction. System is there. Sometimes I'm not executing the system right way. Yeah, that's fine, but I know my mistake. But you can't just blindly take. If somebody was blindly taking what I'm doing, then I don't. That's why I keep saying about amateur move. You've sized too much in amateur move, you'll be done for the day. You might be down like 10% of your account if you oversize. So do not trade like that. Anyways, so Boeing was a loser in the community. Luckily, we had a good trades and we covered for that loss. Let's move to the next one. All right, guys. The next one we're gonna cover is Visa. So Visa, guys, Visa was a gap fill short. I'm not gonna take too much time on Visa. I'm just gonna show you what happened on Visa. Here you go. Here's your Visa, guys. Visa heavy watching for gap fill. Let's go to the pre-market planning. What was the pre-market planning on Visa? Pre-market planning on Visa was pretty straightforward. Long versus 279.40, gap fill under that, bullish bias. That's fine. We need to have a bias, but when it breaks that level, change the bias. That's when I told everybody, heavy watch for the gap fill. If stays under the clouds and it's filling the gap, I said next leg down 277, we should get a full gap fill. And look at that, guys. Look at the beauty here. Easy trade system. I don't know if you can find another good trading system like that. I show you every day. I've shown you 100 times, guys. Beautiful gap fill trades. You can literally make your whole week with a trade like Visa, but you need to hold. You need to be patient. If you are in options, you need to let your option go 100, 200%. And if you are in shares, you risk $2, $3, you risk $1,000, then you better make $4,000 when the stock fades from 280 to 275. So that's how you trade it, guys. It's very important to learn. Great win, Visa. All right, guys, next one, let's look at Texan. Texan is another one that I left kind of a break even loser. I was short here, right? Starter short. But when it started to give me these wicks, 1, 2, 3, 4, those wicks was kind of, I was not confident. So I got out, basically just a little scratch loose. And then I left it. And then, there was a long was also not convincing because it was not going over this 177 level and it was, fading that. The plan was, we had a plan on Texan, right? We had a plan long if 774 holds, 775, otherwise gap fill under that. So it has been bouncing from that level, right? So same level that I talked about, 174, 175. And I took an early short, did not work, and I was like, I'll leave it. But later in the day, Texan came through, break the cloud here, and break this downtrend line here, and look at that fade. And proud of many people in the community who traded it well. Texan, yeah, RGV did well there. You better follow RGV. He's doing really good there. All right, next one. All right, guys, the next one we're going to talk about is Pepsi. So Pepsi was a day too long, guys. How was a day too long? Day too longs are simple, and I was talking about this on The Voice. I told everyone that the Pepsi was okay. Let's go to the day 2 sheet. Here's my day two. Yeah. So Pepsi was my number 4 on day 2 sheet. 171 was resistance pivot, and Pepsi started to curl over the cloud. So it was no longer a short. Even though we were looking at short, we were short bias yesterday. But look at this bullish candle. It's even bullish than what it did yesterday, even bullish than the bearish candle. I mean, the calls went crazy, 300-400% there. And that's what I told everyone. It's bullish. Pepsi is bullish. You do not short it, right? So you do not short it. And a lot of traders were in the Pepsi, right? We thought it will be a short, but it was not. It was over the cloud, and Kumar took the calls, and Kumar was doing good, right? And Kumar, proud of Kumar, right? Andrew did good. So you had to keep those calls. This was, look at 130%. Simple system. Once it's over my pivot, that's a long. You risk. So you risk under those candles. Last 10-minute candle is your risk, your dollar risk, and you made $6. That's how you trade, right? So that was a great day too long there in the comment. Yeah, let's recap ENPH next. ENPH, I couldn't do anything. Frankly, I was bullish, B minus. Let me show you that. So the game plan on ENPH was to be, long if 105 holds, B minus bounce, only pullback longs. And ENPH pushed, pulled back to this area, and then pushed. So bullish, right? Completely missed that, and then it faded from yesterday's resistance and came back. I didn't have any trade there, but was good for community. I think few people were long, and then few people were short. RGV was, I think, short ENPH on a B minus, C minus when it broke down with the market. So that was a good one. So next one, I'm going to discuss the shorts, right? The shorts on AMD and the shorts on NVIDIA. And these were with the market, guys. Let's go to the market sheet. So I will discuss how we shorted the market today. I'm not going to spend too much time. You can watch my yesterday's video, similar kind of thing we did here. Let me show you NVIDIA as well. So NVIDIA was also the filling the gap, right? So I told everyone it's filling the gap. You can see this NVIDIA alert here, and this you can see is AMD as well here. So you see that AMD is bearish as well, NVIDIA is bearish as well. There was no flow. I even tweeted about that there was no flow in SAMIs. The first thing I tweeted this morning was the SAMIs were not getting any love, and they were just filling the gap. And with the market short, this short, we fill the gap. You can take a look at both the levels on AMD NVIDIA. 154, 835 levels were given to the community. Market was short. I was on the voice guidance all day, and you can see that how people shorted, the community all day, short, and everybody was short NVIDIA, and everybody was short AMD. So that was the trade today. Short AMD and NVIDIA shorts, guys. Not gonna spend too much time. You can pause the screen, see the timestamp commentary, and we really killed it. And then we did have some curls as well on it, which failed it, and I told everybody to stop out, and it faded another few points. So next one we're gonna discuss is, guys, Airbnb. So Airbnb was so let's look at Airbnb. What was Airbnb doing for us? Airbnb was from our game plan setup. Let's go to the game plan and see what was the game plan. Airbnb gap setup was gap fill under 163, right? Gap fill under 163, long over it. Clearly gave the game plan to the community in the pre-market. I was busy tied up with other trades, but you see once that 163 broke, it went to 161. Not the full gap fill, but still a good, decent risk reward trade. You take this candle, you take the starter, breaks more, you add more, your stop should be at 163, and then you let it work, you get it out when it curls over 512. Great trade, Airbnb from the game plan, flawless. So guys, now I'm going to discuss about Meta, right? So what was happening in the Meta? So Meta, let's go back. What was my tweet then when I tweeted? I always give a game plan. We do not trade lotto gambles. I do not do that, right? So let's go back. Let's see here, right? So I had this chart that I gave everybody before the market, before the earnings. So you see that we had this chart, right? So chart 500 and 475 are two important pivots. When 475 did not hold, then I knew it's going to 450. And then when 450 doesn't hold, I knew it's going to go 400. Why? Because there's a gap. These technical rules are not. Sorry, my number 3 is with me here today, so you might hear some voices. So that gap is. So we have a gap, and it's not like a myth. The gaps act as support and resistance. So look what my guidance was in the pre-market, right? People wanted to buy it. I buy it, and I said, do not buy it. I strictly told that do not buy it. I strictly told that do not buy it. So let me see that 1 second. So I strictly told everyone do not buy it. Let's see. So let's see my comments here. You will see I'll show you my timestamped commentary in the community. So what I told everyone was, once it's breaking down, right? Everybody wants to buy it, think it's too low. No, it's nothing is too low, guys. You do not have to buy. Look at the daily chart, find your levels. That's how you trade, right? And so reason we do not buy it, because nothing is too low, right? So there's nothing that's like too low, and you see that's what I'm saying here. Because you have to, you think, oh, it's $50 down, this down, doesn't matter, right? Low can go lower. You just have to find your risk levels. So I told everybody, buy at 400, or that is your risk. If you try to buy at 400, or that is your risk. And even people wanted to buy at this bounce, I said, have a strict stops at 425. Do not buy it. That's we will get 400. So that's what I told everybody. You see that, I've been tweeting about it. I tweeted about that 400 is where the buyers, right? So I was not buying. I did buy. I didn't feel good, but I did buy close to 400, and I made like $20 already there, right? So I told everybody Meta going to 400. Right, do not buy it. And Tape wanted to buy it, and I said no, we are going to 400, and we did hit 400. And I've been crying about 400. The reason I'm telling you is not just because oh, this is my call. That means nothing to me, right? Things work. You can do it. Everybody can do it. This is not a rocket science. So I knew the 400 is coming, because I want to teach to those people who trying to understand how the price action works. This is how price action works. If you don't have this knowledge, you will be buying at 440 and losing everything, stopping out, and then it will bounce from 400. So that's why I'm teaching you that. That's why we did not buy. That's why I bought at 400. That's why I'm showing you this daily chart, how the levels panned out, right? So use them to risk reward trade, right? Do not lotto gamble, trade after hours. Right, so wait for your best entry. You do not have to just buy because it's low. You have to buy when it's giving you good risk reward. Understand that. You do not have to buy because it's low. You have to buy when it gives you good risk versus reward. So guys, I'm going to wrap up with the SPY, QQQ, morning shorts and midday reversals. There's not much to talk about, and I can show you my trades and all that we did on SPY. So we were short, right? I told everybody do not try. There's a lot to talk about SPY. I'm trying to keep it short today, but you see SPY in the morning, once it breaks this range, this was a short, right? It failed to make a new high after 10 a.m. It was a short. Failed to make a new high. It was a short. It did break out into 10 a.m. but so it was just a short. There was no long there. So there was no long on that. And then we did a curl setup, right? So we did a curl. I want to show you those price alerts on the curl. So let's go and see that. So you see that this was the curl setup, right? 425. So we shorted it. Let me clean it up for you guys. And this was all on my tweets. Actually, let me just show you the tweets. So let's look here, right? So in the morning I told everybody that so let's recap through my timestamped tweet, right? I'm just gonna do it quickly because number 3 is here with me and is making a lot of his sounds. But anyways, right? So I said after day 2 run, chop is not out of the question. You see that, right? Ripster labels are saying chop, and we are, not making a new high after 10 a.m. This one tweet, you will see the whole life cycle of the trade we did today on SPY, and you can see how there was a bearish chop. I told everyone bearish chop, and then I was talking, this is a bearish alert, and we are just following the system. We are not even doing anything. And then you see further follow through. QQQ also failed, and then 512 rejects. Tave was giving good guidance in the community, and and then we started to curl, and this was our curl, and that's when I alerted in the community about the curl setups, and you can see those alerts there. And that's where on the curls were even more profitable. I did cover the curls in the previous videos as well, so go back, check that out as well. You will see that, and you can see how all the old traders in the community were trading these curls, this curl setup, and short and curl. So anyways guys, that was the quick recap of the daily SPY QQQ SPX trades. Apologies for little Rip here. I was taking care of him, and he's not little in a good mood today. But anyways guys, thank you for watching. I'll see you tomorrow. You want to trade with me, come join the community. We trade together as a family. Don't come for alerts, come for education and come for guidance. Thank you. Take care. Bye bye.